Hello, dear listeners. Welcome to Surviving This Together. I'm your sexy host, Levi.
Oh, this is going to be good.
Okay. Thanks for downloading this podcast, dear listener. My name is Levi, and this is my co-host,
Lauri.
I'm Brandon.
So we're going to start this episode by discussing the upcoming, I can't remember what order, is it Heroes, Healers, Hustlers?
Triple H.
Or Hustlers, Heroes?
I think Heroes, Healers, Hustlers. Yeah.
Heroes, Healers. Heroes, Healers, Hustlers. We're going to discuss what little we know about the 20 cast members. 18?
18.
I did research.
3 times 6.
Yes, there's 18 cast members this season.
Okay, so how long have you guys been watching Survivor? Levi?
I have seen every single episode with the possible exception of some of the flashback episodes, which thankfully they no longer do.
Yeah, right. I've been watching since the very first season. I missed a couple in the middle. I don't remember Danny Boatwright's season. And that's about
That's very specific. Is that a winner?
Yeah, Danny Boatwright.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's about the same time. I watched it like everybody did when it first happened. And I watched, I think, up until maybe season 10 or something. And then I was in high school and doing like extracurriculars and stuff. And it was really hard to keep up on. And I started watching it again maybe like 4 years ago. But I went back and watched the seasons I missed.
Yeah, I just did a rewatch of all the seasons I couldn't remember. But I wasn't able to watch Danny Boatwright's still.
What season was that?
That was Guatemala. Brandon,
who's your favorite and least favorite Survivor winner?
Oh my god, that is such a hard question. Least favorite, I don't know if I have Danny Boatwright because I don't know who she is. No, that's
Poor
so
Danny.
hard to say because every one of them I can look at and say, you know, they have a reason that they won, but I think the one I go back and forth on is probably JT. And Lauri, I was just talking to you about JT, about how I thought he kind of stole it from Fishback, but then I take, another look at it and I'm like, well, everybody loved him on that season, so he deserved to win, but
I think with those two, I don't think Fishback can win on his own, and I don't think JT. It's like a package deal. Like I was talking to Levi about this previously. I kind of think they're like a Steve Jobs and Wozniak sort of thing, where they're both really good at what they do, but they need the other person either for like creativity or engineering.
Yeah.
Levi, who's your least favorite Survivor winner?
Okay, this is going to be a little bit controversial, I think, but I've got a reason. My least favorite Survivor winner is Kim Spradling. And there's nothing wrong with Kim Spradling at all. My issue is that season, she just tore through it, and it made for what I felt was bad television because every single episode I'm like, oh, let's watch Kim Spradling win some more. That's fun.
I've heard, I think he's a very good guy, it seems like, but I think between the Tyler Perry idol and just that season itself, I don't think he could ever win. And I don't know that he was, there's the whole thing of most deserving because he won, so of course he deserved to win because he got there, but I don't think he played by far the best game there. I think it was just a bunch of kind of random happenstance that he happened to win by.
While we're on it, who's your favorite then?
I guess Sandra. She's done it twice. I think she's more, I guess, firm. I don't know what word to use.
Direct.
Yeah, she's very direct, and I don't think I would be able to play that type of game, but I can't. The fact that she comes off she kind of has resting bitch face, and she seems like a very abrasive person. So for her to be able to kind of hide in the shadows almost as well as she did, while also kind of almost puppeting stuff, but not very obviously, I think is amazing, especially for her personality type. For her to not have just gotten, rubbed everybody the wrong way and gotten voted out quickly on both seasons, or all 3 seasons.
I actually heard something recently, an interesting strategy that somebody pointed out that I'd never thought of, and I think that Boston Rob and Sandra both had, was that they spoke to everybody in the same tone, whether or not they were planning on voting that person out, whether or not they were allied with that person. They always spoke to them the same way. They didn't avoid talking to somebody. They didn't speak to somebody hey, you, or we're trying to talk them up. They spoke to everyone the exact same way the entire time. And I think that's a killer strategy that both of them happen to use.
Yeah, that's cool. I never heard that, but yeah, I like that. See, I think my favorite winner, I don't know, the person that I was rooting for the hardest when they won was Denise Stapley. That season
I love her.
was incredible to see her win that. And if not her, then this last Millennials versus Gen X, Adam Klein, that winner. I loved his story arc, not just about his, his mom and everything, but just the way he started, and he was so bad at it at first. And then he kind of turned it around and like weaved his way in, and he let the massive mega players play themselves out of the game, and he stayed right behind him. It was so much fun to watch him like turn his season around. So I say he's probably up there for me too.
My favorite Survivor winner is Bob Crowley, who I believe is the most forgotten Survivor player. I will remind you, he was the first person to ever create a fake idol. He was a science teacher at a high school at the time of his season. He was great. He was creative. Like I said, he invented the fake idol. And not only did he win, he also won the vote, the favorite prize, where people like called in and picked their favorites. And
well, there weren't a lot to pick from on Gabon, let's be honest.
Fair enough. But yeah, but he not only did he win, he double won and created the first fake idol. So, he's one of my favorites, although he's season 17, which is exactly in the middle. So, he's not one of the early ones. He's not one of the more recent ones. So, he's really forgotten right now.
I love Bob Crowley. I love that season. That's one of my favorite seasons.
Since we normally do our fantasy Survivor rules, and we give out points based off of things like, like staying in the game, using hidden immunity idols, using special things, finding hidden immunity idols. We have all these points that we normally do. But this time I want to try a different game. I had you guys give me the order that you think players are going to get voted out, and I'm calling this Survivor Golf. Every time a player gets voted out, I'm going to look at your list, and I'm going to give that player X amount of points based off of how far away you were. So if you think they were first off and they're third off, that's going to be 2 points because you were 2 off. And at the end of by the time we hit merge, whoever has the lowest score will be deemed the psychic winner. The psychic. Hold on,
I
actually came up with a
Very
name
cool.
for this because I looked.
I was actually thinking about that earlier, about how we could do something like that where the lowest score wins, like golf. So yeah, that's awesome. I'm down, and I'm gonna win.
We should probably jump into the casting, and the first person on our list is Alan. One of you want to tell us a little bit about Alan?
Alan Ball. Yeah, I can. So Alan Ball is our sports hero. He's on the Heroes Tribe. But yeah, he played for the Cowboys, the Texans, the Jaguars, and the Bears, and the Cardinals. What do you guys think about him?
Probably the least amount of notes for him as I do anybody. I'm sure he's a very personality dude, maybe a very nice dude, but he seems like the typical casting of I'm a football player, and then that it's going to go the story route of is anybody going to recognize me? If they do, how does he deal with that? And then also trying to prove that he's not a dumb jock. I think that it's usually pretty straightforward, and he didn't seem to break the mold on that.
I actually have him as one of my top players. He's in my top 5 and when it comes to vote order. I think he's really likable, and because he's not the most well-known football player, he thinks that it's not really going to come up, and I'm going to have to agree. I have really high hopes for this guy. He seems super cool. I mean, obviously he's athletic, which I think is going to carry him to at least the merge, but he seems like a really nice guy. He seems like he's really easy to get along with and fun and playful, and I think he's going to make it really far. I think it's going to be him being loyal to somebody he shouldn't be. I think it's going to be this guy's MO.
I have him as number 12, and I have the most notes about him because in his bio, he says he thinks nobody will know who he is. Okay, let's see. He says he has a temper during competition. During his games, he gets a bad temper. He says he's cranky when he's hungry. He says people won't and will never understand his journey, nor will he ever understand their journeys. And he says he wants to win on his own merit without anybody else's help. He just does not sound like a good team player to me.
Cool. So next up we got Patrick Bolton. He is a 24-year-old from Alabama, and he is a small business owner. I have him pretty high-ish up. I'm kind of getting vibes from him that I got from Mike from No Collar, Blue Collar, White Collar, where it seems, I don't know if it's because of his accent or just the fact that he's another Southerner. I think he may be the one. Somebody on this cast called themselves a good old boy. And it seems like he's very intelligent and very hardworking, but that always makes me think they might be a little bit aggressive, where if they don't think other people are pulling their weight, they'll be a little bit snippy about it, which early on is a death sentence. So if he can keep that in check, I think he'll be okay.
I have him pretty high. I have him as number 8. He seems pretty level-headed, so I think he's going to be able to ride the waves of everything pretty easily, but he says he hates inconsistency and values honesty, and those are not two things that you get in Survivor.
Yeah.
At all.
And
so I'm just really interested to see it, I think he's going to be fun. I think he's going to be like a Spencer, where he gets really frustrated when all these twists and turns happen.
I like him a lot, actually. One of the interesting things he says, he's like, oh, yeah, I'm a Southern guy, like a country boy, but he really likes rap, and so he thinks he's going to kind of throw people for a loop. But that guy is charming. That guy is ridiculous charming. But I think he'll be able to make it to the merge at least, so long as he doesn't come off as like an evil genius. I think he runs the risk of appearing to be the evil genius, and that would really do him in. But I think he's just barely going to make the merge. I have him right in the middle.
Guys, on the Survivor cast page where you can look at the bios of everybody, I've noticed no matter who I click to on the bottom when it lists the cast, you assume like, oh, people are going here to look at the new cast. Jeff Probst is listed as number 1 on every single page. He's the first cast member.
Well, he is in the cast.
No, that's true, but like you're going here to like, oh, who are these new people? He's like, hey, make sure my bio's there. And they're like, Jeff, I think they know who you are. He's like, make sure my bio's there, guys. I'm a producer. Put it there.
Well, what does it say about Probst? It says Jeff Probst is a 4-time Emmy winner. I didn't know it's won 4 Emmys for outstanding.
Maybe he got one for his talk show.
That's crazy that Probst is like right there.
Yeah, on every single one. If you click to anybody else's bio, you go down and like Jeff is still number 1 on every single landing. Like,
it says Probst is an ordained minister.
What?
Oh, we knew that though, because he was going to marry Figgy and Taylor.
In 2001, he was voted. I think Jeff Probst wrote his own bio. In 2001, he was voted one of People Magazine's most beautiful.
Does it really say that?
Stop. It does, not even kidding. Next up, we got Allie Elliott. She's a 24-year-old Californian. She is a celebrity assistant for a YouTuber that I've seen, but I'm not super familiar with. Her name is Glozell. Cool. I have Allie, actually, as my second win pick. I think that...
What? Really? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I think so. I think she's gorgeous, and I think she's also very smart, and I don't think... Like, this cast has a lot of very attractive women and men, but I feel like Allie is going to be the one who's willing to flirt to get ahead, but isn't going to be super obvious about it, like a couple of the other women, or be very opposed to doing it. I think the fact that she is a personal assistant for a YouTuber, I feel like a YouTuber is such a specific brand of kind of a weird pseudo-celebrity, and the culture that surrounds that is going to give her, like, her having to deal with that, I think is going to give her a heads up for a lot of, like, the weirdness she has to deal with in Survivor.
Okay, I guess I can see that. She says she would bring a mirror and a Bible and tampons, which, okay, she says she would use the mirror to make fire. A Bible would help keep her sane. And, yeah, okay. That's actually kind of smart. Tampons, yeah.
I could not get a vibe off this girl whatsoever, like none. So I put her directly in the middle. So yeah, I think that's interesting. We have such a spread on her. Brandon thinks she's going to do fairly poorly. Lauri thinks she's going to do great. And I got her like directly in the middle. Just not quite making merge is where I have her positioned at.
Cool. So next up we have John J.P. Hilsebeck. He is a 28-year-old. He is also from LA, but he is a firefighter. What do y'all think of him?
Well, first of all, let's talk about him being a firefighter. In the history of Survivor, have we ever had a firefighter win? We always have a cop and a firefighter.
Jeremy.
We've seen like a few cop wins, and like cops make it pretty far, but firefighters seem like they always get.
Jeremy.
And I don't want to say like because you're a firefighter you're going to do this well, but they've had a rough time historically.
Jeremy was one of my favorite winners, and he was a firefighter.
Oh, he did win. Yeah, he's great. I forgot.
Well, Tom Westman was a firefighter too.
Okay, fair enough. That's I'm forgetting some winning firefighters then, because yeah, firefighters we usually get some good players on that team, but.
I got a real Australia Colby vibe from him, where it seems like he's aware that he's handsome and aware that I think Jeff Probst, first of all, is going to have a very big crush on this man. But I feel like this guy is, like, handsome and smart and brave and stuff, but in a way that's not, like, he doesn't think he's a big deal, because to him, the stuff that he does is just what a person does. And so him being a firefighter and a hero and all of that isn't going to be... I don't think he's going to be one of those people that stands out as being a huge threat, because he just seems like a good dude. So I think he's gonna pitch his tent to somebody who's, like, a very big player and kind of fly under the radar despite being very clearly like a big threat.
I actually thought he was going to be a big target because he's like the Captain America. People are going to be like, that guy is too nice. Don't let him go to like people. Everybody's going to give that guy their vote.
I think he's just going to be boring to watch. There's only a few people in here that I thought might be boring TV, and he's one of them, and I think that'll help him a lot. He's going to be, I don't know that he's that driven, and I don't know how much he knows about Survivor, and so I don't know if he's going to, have all that gameplay in him, or if he's just going to kind of follow along with what people tell him. Kind of as a GOAT, kind of as a comp threat pre-merge.
So next we have Ben Drybergen. He's a 34-year-old. He's from Boise, Idaho. He works at a warehouse, like a grocery warehouse. He is a former Marine.
This guy makes me nervous. I think he's going to be the hothead that's blowing up more so than Alan Ball even. I think this guy's going to get himself in trouble. I think if he gets in with the Bro Alliance, he's going to make it, a fair amount, but I don't think this guy can make merge if he does start blowing up. I don't think he has the likability to get very far.
On his bio, they asked him, which Survivor contestant are you most like? And he says he is a mix of Russell, Boston Rob, and Joe.
Yeah,
which
that's
is an
so
interesting. I don't know how Joe fits into that, and I don't know why anybody would want to be a Russell.
Well, if you're looking for community idols, like that dude was a beast at finding idols.
Then you can be Ty and have a better chance at winning than Russell.
This is true.
I do not know how to feel about this guy. You guys don't watch Big Brother, at least you haven't this season, but he reminds me of Cody this season, and I won't bore you with all the details, but Cody's a Marine, and he's kind of a hothead, and he just hates everybody. He won't talk to him, but he does it in this really endearing kind of mean way. He's really hard to read, and I think that's what this guy's going to be. I think he's going to have his sights set straightforward. He's going to know what he wants, and he's going to know who he likes, and he's going to know who he doesn't like. And the people he doesn't like, I don't think he's going to be able to work with at all.
Anybody who says that they're a Russell, that's just a red flag. Because
yeah.
Next up, we have Chrissy Hoffbeck. She is a 46-year-old from New Jersey, and she is an actuary.
She's on the Hero Tribe. She's an actuary, and she's on the Hero Tribe.
Well, I think the stuff that she does is basically helping people invest money, so she'll help them make good decisions about it. So, if Grandma comes into the bank and says, I want to put $1 million into this, she'll be like, you might win a bunch, but you might just throw all, this is a high risk potential.
True. I think she's coming in as one of the smartest and most knowledgeable players. People seem to have really have a lot of like for this lady. She's one of the older ones, if I recall correctly, on this season now.
I actually almost had her as my win pick. I think an issue with her is she seems very dead set on... She's in a math-related field, which is typically male-dominated, and she seems very aware of that, and I think she's going to want to try really, really hard to prove herself, so she's doing stuff to prove that, she might make a big move to prove that she did something, and she might not need to make that move, because she just wants to prove that she's there, and she's smart, and she's hardworking and stuff, and I feel like that could be, and she comes across as very, very smart, and she's also athletic, so she's a huge threat.
She kept getting pushed down on my list. I would find a new person, and I'm like, ooh, I think they're going to do better, because she's older, she's 46,
She seemed really in shape, I think. So I think the 46-year-old thing isn't really going to come into play. I think a lot of the dudes who look stronger are going to do a lot worse than her. She had some muscle, too, so...
If I recall correctly, she was going to lie about her age, too, and say she was 38 or 39 or something. I wish I had more to say about her, because she seems like she's going to be one of the more interesting players. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some really interesting people on here. Ryan Ulrich, I think, is especially interesting. But I think that Chrissy Hoffbeck is going to really stand out.
Next up, we have Jessica Johnston. She is a 29-year-old from Kentucky. I couldn't remember what that abbreviation was for a second. She is a nurse practitioner. I don't think she's going to do well. She kind of bragged a little bit about, on her CBS video, she was bragging about who doesn't want to see a blonde cry. Crying makes everybody around you uncomfortable, and people don't want to keep the person around who seems like they're making decisions with their heart instead of their head, because they're a very big liability. She's very open about her Christianity, and she just seems very, very, very nice, which doesn't do well, and not nice in the way like Ty was, where it could be an asset. I think it's a liability in her case.
Yeah, I really have like nothing. I don't have much to say because I couldn't get a vibe off of her. Like I couldn't find anything. I don't want to be mean to anybody, or but like there's like nothing that stands out about her. I have her as a third one going home. I have her at 16 out of 18.
Yeah, well, okay. Are you ready? She is my first boot.
Yeah,
18 out of 18.
I get the same vibe.
She seems so bubbly and nice, and I think she seems, like a good person. But I just think this game is going to run her over.
I have her third to last. I think she's going to start out pretty strong, but I think she's going to get broken down pretty quick. So I think like a few days in, she's going to be pretty rough. Well, next we have Rourke Luskin. She is 27 from California, and she is a social worker. I think she seems pretty basic, for lack of a better word. On her profile, she mentions that she really likes The Bachelor, and she likes looking at Yelp reviews of generic businesses like Starbucks. She seems like she's pretty easily annoyed. She mentioned that it's actually a problem that I have sometimes where she'll correct people thinking that, like, if somebody corrects her, she's happy because she wants to learn something or she wants to look up stuff. And instead, people are like, wow, please stop. You're kind of a know-it-all / bossy sort of thing. And if you can't keep that in check on Survivor, I think you're done pretty quick.
I think she's a lot smarter than you guys are.
I think she's
like
super duper smart. I don't think she's very self-aware. I don't think she's...
I think she is.
I've got her right in the middle. I've got her just barely not making... I've got her at 10 out of 18, like just not quite making merge, assuming merge happens right in the middle, which, it's actually probably not it. Like, I get her right around merge. I like her. I think she's great. I think she's going to be good television. I think she seems like a good person. But I think her downfall is that she seems just a little bit weird, and I think she's going to be on the outs of whatever cool kid club shows up.
I have her as 9, and when I first looked at her, I said, and I think I watched your video, and I was like, she's a lot like Sophie Clark. And then I read her bio, and it says, she's like if Sophie Clark and Courtney Yates found a way to have a child. And then I don't know, I watched her video a few times because I couldn't figure it out. And I don't know, there's something about her that I cannot wait to watch her. I have her here. I have a note that says, she's probably my personal favorite personality right now. And I don't know why.
Watching her video, I was pretty middle of the road on her, but reading her bio, she listed Beyonce's daughter, Blue Ivy, as her inspiration in life, and I cannot deal with that.
I love it.
Next up, we got Cole Metters from Arkansas. He is a 24-year-old wilderness therapy guide, and that means, he explained it as basically he'll take people who were like disadvantaged? That's not a word.
Disadvantaged.
Is that a word?
Yes, disadvantaged.
Okay.
Disadvantaged is a word.
Children, and he'll take them into the forest for 2 weeks, and this thing was very confusing. He'll take them to a camp and teach them skills they didn't get a chance to learn. I have him exactly in the middle. I think he's going to be this season's Captain America. He's going to be a guy, I think he's going to be very aware of his job and stuff, and he's not going to do anything that will seem backhanded because he won't want his kids to see it.
See, I don't think Cole isn't going to want to get his hands dirty because he's not going to want the kids to see it necessarily. I just think he's not going to.
He's Bono.
Because he's just a cool guy. I want to say, he says he wants to play like Spencer, Colby, and Cochran. And he's a pretty attractive looking guy. And so I think for him to say he sees Cochran and Spencer in himself is pretty humble.
I think that's very, especially Cochran is just so smart. I think that's the opposite of humble. It's basically saying, like, I'm Colby, I'm super handsome and charming, but I'm also Cochran because I'm super smart. I got it all.
All right, I'm gonna talk about Cole Metters. Okay, I was in love with Cole Metters. Like, I watched his interview. I mean, I listened to his interview. Like, I watched his video that CBS put up on YouTube, and I was like, man, this guy is like my man. He like wants to go around adventure. He wants to travel. He wants to like tool around. He wants to like help people. I'm like, this guy's my man. This is like he's living my dream. Like, I just love Cole Metters. So, like, you know what I did? I went and found this guy on Twitter, and I'm like, he's got to have a Twitter account. Like, yeah, sure he does. I'm like, yo, dude, you're my, like, pre-win pick. I think you're great. And then, like, Survivor started, like, putting up some stuff on Twitter, and he jumped in there. He's like, oh, look at me sticking out my tongue. What am I doing in this picture? I'm like, oh, bro, you're still my win pick. You're the best. He wasn't replying to anybody that was saying nice things about him, including me, so I deleted those tweets and made him my second pick.
Oh, my God.
There, I said it.
He probably can't. He's probably not allowed to say anything.
He can click that heart button when I say, like, yo, dude, you're my favorite.
He seems cool. I think he's going to be somebody people are going to want to be around, as long as he doesn't do anything stupid. You know,
what would
I
he
think
do that's
people
stupid?
are going to like being around him. Oh, just something, as long as he's just not stupid, like Figgy and Taylor. You know?
Okay, like, for people who maybe don't know what that is, you think he might showmance it and, like, be, like, just openly, like, making out with somebody?
I am worried about a showmance with him. Yeah, I am. I was thinking that. It was either...
Yeah, he listed himself as flirtatious as well.
Yeah, it was him and Devin I was looking at, and I was like, who, if anybody, are they going to try to, like, get way too close to?
Next, we got Joe Mena. He's a 34-year-old. He is originally from the Bronx in New York, but he currently lives in Connecticut, and he is a probation officer.
I'm worried this guy is going to be too pushy because he's, like, the way he deals with, like, he talks about manipulating, like, sociopaths and narcissists that he deals with, like, every day, and, like, I think this guy might be like Tony Velacho, I think is his name is. I think he might be like a discount Tony, but I think he's gonna be like too pushy, and I think that's not gonna work with this tribe, with this group of people. I mean,
I feel like he is what I wanted Tony to be. I think he seems more self-aware, so I think he's gonna know. He lists what contestants he's most like. It's Tony, Mike, and Jeremy, and I think that's a great mix to have.
I think it is so funny how easy it is to compare this guy to Tony. I mean, he looks like him. You know, his job is similar, where he works with, he's not a cop, but he's a probation officer. This is a guy that was a huge football fan and will know who Alan Ball is, by the way.
He's somebody that I think would do very well, but if Tony and Sarah had won 15 seasons ago, not like just recently.
I don't know. He seems like a cool guy. I think he'll be able to get along with people, and I think his job has trained him as well as you can train a person for a game like this.
We got Simone Nguyen. She's a 25-year-old from New York City, and she is a diversity advocate.
Oh, yeah, that was hilarious. I'll tell her they have bad
did not.
eyebrows.
Can you explain it?
Go for it, Brandon.
So we can pretty much openly say that we listen to other Survivor podcasts. Yes, fair. No, they were doing an interview with her, and she said, I think it was Wiggler was asking her what's the dirtiest thing she'd do, and she said, I would probably tell one girl that another girl said their eyebrows were bad, and that would piss them off.
That is very good.
It is very good.
So I think that can be done really well. I think just from the interviews and stuff, she was very big on the fact that she wants to do that sort of thing and that she wants to grab information from everybody and disperse it. I think she's going into it with like too strong of a plan, and I think it's going to get A, tripped up, and B, you lie once, you have to keep track of that lie, and then every lie you make after that you have to keep track of. It seems like she's too ready to be deceitful unnecessarily, and it's kind of like, what do you have to gain from saying that? Like, you can't just stir the pot to stir it. She also, in her CBS thing, she said that she compares herself to Michaela, which is actually kind of an impression of her I got myself, and that it's not to anybody's benefit.
Yeah, she's going to have her hands in everybody's business, and they're not going to like it.
I agree and I disagree with what you've said about Simone. I agree that she's going to come in swinging way too hard, and I think that's going to get her voted out quick. But I don't think that she would tell so many lies that she lost track. I don't think she's going to play that. But I think she's going to come off as conniving. People are going to see her like talking to everybody, and like it's always going to seem like whenever she's talking about somebody else that she's like trying to find out like secrets about him, and then everybody's going to go, well, she when she's talking to me, is she trying to find out secrets about me? I don't trust her, like the way she's like underhandedly like talking to everyone, including me. One
of her quotes is, she says, I'm unafraid to make consequential decisions that affect everyone's game. If you're on a tribe or an island with somebody like that, and you sniff that out at all, you have got to get rid of them. You cannot
That's kind of what I was
live like
getting at, as like a liability, because it seems like everybody's going to know that she's just going to make drama for no reason. And it's not going to help her alliance. It's not necessarily going to be in her own best interest. It's going to.
And I can't wait to watch.
Yeah, I don't think she's going to bring
that
drama.
type of game.
I think she's just going to be like again, she's going to come out.
The eyebrow thing is drama.
And everybody, well, yeah. Well, I don't think she's, like I said, I think that drama will be created because of it, but I think she's going to try to not create drama, but everyone's going to think she's sneaky and she's going to get called out for it pretty quick. But again, like I think she's a great person. She looks like she's going to be real fun, and I think she's going to get voted out, and I think I'm going to be real sad when it happens.
Yeah.
Oh. I think the assessment of her not bringing drama is pretty wrong, considering the eyebrow thing. Like, as a girl,
yeah,
like,
I think Levi's pretty wrong about it.
The
Fair
biggest
enough.
drama bomb.
I think
like that out of the gate.
I think,
and just that she says she
wrong.
wants to, just that she says she wants to like make these big decisions that mess everybody else's game up. That's not smart. That's not smart to do. You can't just blow up everybody's game and expect to like.
Don't take Lauri's side. She said you had bad eyebrows.
Drama! Next up, we have Ashley Nolan. She is a 26-year-old from Florida, and she used to work as a financial person, I think. She used to have an office job, and she quit that job so she could be a lifeguard.
Ashley's my win pick.
Really?
Yeah. I think I'm a little bit unsure of her, but I think she might be the alpha female. And from after I watched her long interview on another podcast, I think she might be kind of like Amanda, who is another middle season winner, who I think who's one of my favorite players, Amanda and Parvati. And I think she's gonna be. I think she will possibly be like Amanda, but only if she pulls an alpha female kind of play.
I have her 7. And I kept putting her higher and higher. I was just looking at my list, and I was like, no, I'm going to move her above her. I'm going to move her above him. But I kept having that in the back of my mind where everyone was like, she looks like a bitch. But then when she starts talking, I think she's going to get people over that right away. And I think she's going to make people like her and win them over because she's really cool.
Agreed.
I like her a lot.
So I got a completely different impression from her. I actually put her pretty low. She's number 15 or something.
Wow.
She seems very abrasive. She seemed kind of like Chrissy in that she wants to prove herself, which can be very, very bad, and it doesn't seem like she's self-aware of that.
I think you're right about that. In my notes I have that I'm kind of listed as being unsure of her, but she seems to doubt herself a little bit.
Next, we have Devin Pinto.
Devin Pinto.
It's your win pick, isn't it, Brandon?
From Carlsbad, California. He is a surf instructor.
But he's your win pick, isn't he, Brandon?
He's number 1.
He's number 1.
And I don't know why.
Are you... Okay, hold on. Are you secretly Jeff Probst?
Yes.
No!
No, yeah, I bet Jeff Probst loves this guy.
Let's air some dirty laundry. At one point, Jeff Probst was in your shower.
Yes, he was. He's in my basement now. I'm not kidding. I was going to have him behind me when I was recording, but I forgot.
Okay, hold on. We need to tell that story so that when people are listening, it's not an inside joke, because this is a good story.
Well, okay, yeah. For my birthday, you guys sent me a cardboard cutout of Jeff Probst. Oh God, I forgot all about this actually. And James, he unpacked. You guys had asked him to unpack it and set it up for me, and to put it in the shower for me when I got home, and it scared the shit out of me. My dog freaked out. They started to attack him because they thought he was a real person because I had ran. And so my dogs were their cackles were up and they were barking and growling at the tub. It was horrifying.
That's amazing. Oh, that worked out.
It was horrifying.
I knew that we scared you, which was our goal, but I didn't know about the dogs. That's great. I feel bad for the dogs. But it was an easy bite. So does he have bite marks all over his
now? Every
legs
time
now?
they see Jeff Probst on TV, they start snarling.
Yeah, no, my dogs are more scared of the bathtub than they are of Probst. So he's in my basement now. We couldn't find a spot for him, so we kept putting him we'll just put him in the hallway for now. And every time I would walk out of my bedroom, he would be there, and it was awful for a month.
Anyway, so why do you have David Pinto as your win pick, aside from not knowing why you have David Pinto as your Devin, not David.
I don't know. I just kept thinking Fabio. I kept thinking, like, if this cast hates each other, and this guy is as cool as I think he is, and he knows the game, he's really, you know, he's done his work on, oh God, what am I trying to say? He's done his research, you know, he's a big fan. I don't know. I think he knows the game. I think people are going to like him. And I think he can weasel his way to the end. Either that or he's the first person to go.
I have him listed. I think he's going to make Merge, but he's going to be one of those dudes who, right after Merge, they start gunning for. I think he's too smart to be left on as somebody's tag-along. He's going to have to really fight for it, but I think he could make it far. But if he can't, he's going to be like one immunity win away from being out after Merge hits.
Okay, I have him listed as my third. I think he's gonna be the loyal guy that gets brought along for a really long time. So that's why I have him as third. Oh, actually, like I currently have him listed as third as like being like the guy that's like super trusting and doesn't quite make it. But in my notes, I actually like say like not to put him up that high. My notes actually say love Pinto, seems like a great guy, but I think he'll be too trusting and leave pre-merge, making him undateable.
Aw.
Katrina Radke, she is a 46-year-old from Minnesota, and she is an ex-Olympian, or an Olympian. I think that's kind of like the president, like you're always like, president, whatever, Olympian Radke.
No, I think she was an Olympic athlete.
Yeah, it's excellent.
Yeah, but it has her listed as, you're not always president, but they always call you, they're not like, yo, ex-President Clinton, they're like, oh, President Clinton.
Oh. I'm Lauri right now. She reminds me of a Debbie. She reminds me of a Debbie, and I just think she's really loud and all over the place, and I think she's going to drive people crazy. She has a lot of energy. She's very intense, right?
That's close. I mean, so the thing, I think Debbie was very angry sometimes.
Yeah,
I think that
sure.
Katrina, I can't remember if it was her or somebody else on RHAP that mentioned that they're worried about being the mom. And I don't know that she's going to be able to turn that off. I think she's going to be the caregiver as much as she wants to not be that person.
She's a psychologist.
She just seems like a very good person who people are going to turn to for advice. And so I think she's going to be kind of a less conniving Suri.
Oh, I like that.
Like,
I
she's
like
not
that.
going to know how to use it to her advantage.
I couldn't peg her. I really like her. I have her 17 too, and I couldn't figure out who she was. She's a big fan. She says she wants to play like Denise. But
I think that conniving is a word with negative connotations and can therefore not be used to describe Suri.
Oh, no, I think it's a great thing to be on Survivor. If you're not conniving, it's a bad thing.
I have her listed as a wild card because I think she's smart and she's clearly an Olympian or an ex-Olympian, depending on how you like to word that. But I think that she's likely to be an outcast. That's why I have her listed as a wild card. Like, her physical and mental prowess is great, but I don't think her social game is going to be quite on par.
So next we have Lauren Rimmer. She's a 35-year-old from North Carolina, and she's a third-generation fisher. They have it listed as fisherman, but you could just say fisherwoman.
That's what I have. I have fisherwoman. I'm really excited about this casting choice. I don't know. Okay. I keep saying I don't know, but I do know. I think she is so down to earth and cool and low maintenance, low drama. She seems loyal. She's really there for her family. She's one of those moms that's there. She knows exactly why she's there. I think she can get along with most people. It would be fun to see somebody like rub her the wrong way though. See that lady start yelling at somebody.
I think with her, she mentioned that she knows that she's stubborn and that could be a detriment. I think she's also very proud of how stubborn she is. She's a very binary sort of person, like good, bad, right, wrong. Things need to be this way, not that way. And I think that could be troubling for her.
Everything I've seen of her, all of her interviews and everything, I've really liked her. And she's the one person that I was like, oh, I would get along with her really well. And I think other people will too.
Yeah, I like her a lot.
I don't think she's going to be a big threat, and I don't,
Yeah, I have her as my first out. I like her a lot. Like, the first thing I wrote in my notes about her is she seems like a great lady. but she's preparing herself for failure. Everything she talks about is kind of like, oh, I don't think people are going to like this about me. Oh, and this is my problem. Like every time I hear her talk, she's talking about all the things she's bad at. Like she's like going in prepared to be the first one voted out, and I think it's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy with her.
I'm very sorry, but I just read something else on Jeff Probst's bio.
Oh, what?
In 2002, he wrote and directed Finder's Fee, a movie starring Ryan Reynolds, James Earl Jones, and Matthew Lillard.
I did actually know that.
I had no idea.
I'm sorry. I couldn't. I was very excited. Next up, we got Ryan Ulrich. He is a 23-year-old from New Jersey, and he is currently a bellhop, though he has had many, many jobs.
Yeah, I love this guy. He's gonna be so good to watch, and I think he's gonna make it far. Like I don't think he's gonna win. I think he's too smart. I think he's too smart, and it's gonna hurt him. But I love this guy. The turtleneck guy, though. I don't know if I agree with the turtleneck, but I think that's his way of trying to be like A, good TV, and B, like playing for All Stars.
I have him as second to last.
I have him as third to last.
Wow.
I think this guy, the fact that he's making the red turtleneck such a deal, it makes me think of like Max, where they go on and they have a thing that they want to do, and they kind of put strategy. Like when you go into Survivor, you don't want people to notice you right away. And I think he's going out of his way to be noticed immediately. I think he's super smart, and he might be able to pull a Cochran and come back later and be more self-aware.
I think he's going to be a Spencer.
I think he's going to just annoy people right away. Like, I was already kind of annoyed watching his interviews and stuff. He was just trying a lot.
I think he's going to be great TV, like, which doesn't make you a good player necessarily, but I think he's going to be one of the most interesting players.
Like, thinking back to Max, I just wanted him to not be on TV anymore because it was just distracting from the game. He wasn't doing anything particularly fun, and he was making everybody else uncomfortable, which made me uncomfortable.
That's funny that you said all that stuff about Max and the turtleneck and Max wanting to be naked and do this and do that, because that's exactly what I was going to say. I don't think he's going to be as annoying as Max was. Sorry, Max, but that tribal...
He knows.
Yeah.
I like Max.
He's going to try way too hard. And he seems like one of those people that wants people to know that he is better and smarter than they are. You know what I mean? And I feel like with his hustler status, that might go to his head a little bit, like, I've had to hustle for everything, so I'm going to hustle really hard in this game and prove that I'm better at this than people.
Next up, we got Desi Williams. She's 27 from... I just closed out the window. Oh, no. We got Desi Williams. She is 27 from... She's originally from Georgia, and she currently lives in Virginia, and she is a physical therapist.
I'm going to jump right on this one. In one of her interviews, she talked about former player Debbie and described Debbie as hard to look at.
Oh, yeah, she did.
So, okay, Rob and Wiggler both kind of took that as, like, physically hard to look at, as in unattractive. I took it more as you didn't want to see it happening, because you're just like, Debbie, what are you doing? I can't. Like, kind of like her gameplay was a horror movie.
I kind of got that, too.
This girl is also the recruit. She was brought in by CBS, not somebody that sent in a video.
She's a recruit, but she said she went back and watched a ton of Survivor. And the way she talks about it makes me believe that she really knows what's going on.
I have her second voted out on my list.
I have her as fourth place.
I have her as third place.
Wow. Yeah, this girl comes off as shallow to me. Like I said, she just openly said Debbie is hard to look at with almost no provocation. Like, I don't think she can keep it I don't think she's going to be able to... She's going to speak her mind, and that's really going to hurt her, I believe.
I was going to say, you know what's funny is, Levi, you were talking about how Sandra and Boston Rob talk to everybody in the same tone. What I have for her is that her voice is very calming and, like, not monotone, but just very, like, smooth and even. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I just think she's going to be really easy to, like, talk to.
She's a pageant queen. I don't know if she ever won, but she participated. And to win those, you have to present a very, very clear-cut, well-spoken, like, look that just makes everybody feel great. I think what will do her in, potentially, is that she's kind of like the female Captain America. Like, she's smart, she's very athletic, she's very pretty, and I think she's going to stand out as a really strong threat. She's going to be like the female Malcolm, basically. Lastly, we have Dr. Mike. He is a 43-year-old doctor from and lives in Parkland, Florida. Specifically, he is a urologist, and he is my win pick.
Seriously?
Yep.
Yeah, I've got him.
Where do y'all have him at?
Fourth out.
Wow.
I think he's adorable.
I like him too.
So I think he knows his shortcomings. I think he's like, he'd be the first person to know what's wrong with him, but I don't think, short of like making kind of Conan-y, like self-deprecating jokes, I don't think he's going to draw too much attention to him, and they'll think that he's just making goofs.
I think you might be right. I think I might have put him too low on my list because, like, being a wiener doctor, he has to make guys comfortable in, like, some really uncomfortable situations. So, like, he might have that, like, social game. But, yeah, I have him listed as adorable nerd, and I hope he can pull a Cochran.
Yeah, he's a super fan. He mentioned that his son is named after Ethan Zahn, but he doesn't come across as somebody who wants to make sure everybody knows how much of a super fan he is. Which is a really good thing, I think, because they know the game, but they're not making sure everybody else knows that they know the game.
His physical game is not going to be on anybody's, like, list.
Yeah, I think he's going to be one of those people who's, A, I think his puzzle game will redeem him a lot, and B, I don't think he's going to be somebody who's so bad that it stands out.
Well, I don't know, like, and it could come down to a roll of the dice, because if his team is the first one to go to Tribal Council, he might be the one gone for being bad at challenges or for being the weird guy, you know.
What I have to say to that is that Jessica Johnston will be out if his tribe goes to Tribal, I think, because she's on his tribe. So I think he at least has her for the first vote out, so I don't think he'll be first.
I do have her listed as getting voted out before him, so as well.
Yeah, I think people are going to think he's funny. He said that he has kind of a problem with, like, verbal diarrhea, but he seems like a really smart dude, that he's going to veer on the side of caution on... At one point he mentioned that when speaking to Jeff, there's an acronym he used. I can't remember what the acronym was, but it was kind of like, before you talk, stop and say, like, why am I saying this? Like, to what end is this?
Oh, what was that?
It's like wish or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was like, why am I saying that or something?
Yeah, and so I feel like he's going to really try to bite his tongue.
I like him a lot.
Yeah, I feel like I should have him higher. I do like him. I'm excited to see him. I don't have anything bad that I have any reasons for putting him so low.
Is that at the end of our people, by the way?
Yes, that is season... Shit, what season is this?
35.
That is the full cast for season 35. Well, I want to go through our win picks again, just to...
So on paper, I have Devin Pinto as my least likely to be voted out first. That was kind of my... So I didn't really necessarily think of him as my winner pick, just as who I didn't think was going to get voted out first. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it's so hard for me to pick a winner pick. I think I'm just going to... You know what? I'm going to go with Devin. I'm just going to.
I
can do it.
I like it. I figured you were going
He's a fan.
Like, before this, like, we were trying not to discuss too much Survivor stuff, you know, save it for the podcast, but... I kept mentioning Pinto, and Brandon was getting all riled up.
You guys kept saying Pinto, and I didn't remember his last name, so I was really confused, but it was, like, busy or something, so I didn't push it.
So, yeah. No, for my win pick, I've got Ashley Nolan as my win pick because I think she might be able to pull an Amanda, and she stole that position from Cole because I don't like what Cole does on Twitter by not clicking the R button.
Pretty fresh. Mine was Mike. I just think he's aware of his downsides, and like I said about others, that it's really important just to be able to turn those into advantages, and I think he's going to be really good at that. I'd
like to vote him right now as the most huggable person in this cast.
That's so funny because he says people will be hugging me as I vote them off.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So the plan is for the episodes to basically air the Tuesday after the episode airs, essentially. So obviously next time we release an episode, it will be about episode 1.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for listening to our cast assessment for season 35. We are very excited to get the season up and running, to see how all of our assessments... We're going to put up episodes every Tuesday, the week after the episode airs. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to email us at survivingthistogether@gmail.com. Until next week, bye!
Thank you, dear listener, for tuning in to this Survivor cast. It's wonderful having all your ears glued to us. They're sexy ears you have, and we hope that they can be sexy again next week.